Coming up on today's Locked On Senators, the Sens finished their home portion of the 2023 NHL schedule with a 3-2 win over the Carolina Hurricanes.
And with his family in attendance and in front of a packed CTC barn, Claude Giroux only needed 2 points to get to 1,000. Well, he got 3 and the game winner nonetheless.
Great night, great milestone. We'll celebrate it and more, and it's all brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with the official sportsbook of Locked On. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On to get started today. This is the Locked On Senators podcast. It's your team every day.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I'm Jake Sanderson, and you're listening to Locked On Senators podcast.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Welcome inside episode 775 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. Please like and subscribe to Locked On Senators wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Today is Tuesday, April 11th, and Pilsy, 78 points on the season for the 35-year-old Claude Giroux, culminating in his 1,001st career NHL point.
What a moment. And for him to get the game winner also was crazy, assisting on Timmy's goal for his 1,000th. And the arena was packed. It's the final home game of the season. Ross, talk about a flair for the dramatic Claude Giroux in this one. I don't think it could have gone any better, or you could have kind of picked a better time for that to happen. It all worked out in a storybook ending.
It certainly did. And his Sens career started at home, storybook style, first shift, first goal. So he opened and closed the CTC when it comes to goal scoring. And
Awesome.
What did the Sens do in those games? They beat what ended up being likely, Carolina's not locked in, but the two division leaders in the Eastern Conference in Boston and then Carolina. But overall, just an awesome night down at the CTC. It was a big ask to beat Saturday's win over Tampa, 7-4. But man, the guys came out swinging that top line, and they've been a little quiet over the last handful of games, but they came out with a bang early, and you know that this meant a lot to them too. We heard that Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk spent the good part of a half hour after the game standing in the tunnel signing autographs, fan appreciation night, and G money. That's just what it is. And we were just as thrilled the night that he signed, or we knew kind of the night before.
There's
that little whisper that New York was still on the table with the Rangers before they signed Vinny Trocheck. But then when we get the LeBron, free agency starts at noon, but here's what we already know.
Yeah.
And there he was, stuck right in the middle. Claude Giroux to Ottawa, and we knew that was just going to really elevate this franchise. And sure, there's probably people listening to this saying, guys, they're 2-0 in meaningless games this year. Like, they just went 0-4 when it mattered most. But still, you can really feel the buildup. And I'm convinced that, next year matters, Pilsy. Next year matters.
Next year matters a whole lot, Ross. And I feel like this team is really kind of building up to that point where they feel confident that they know they've got a good squad. And look at these performances that they're pulling out with, 8-9 injured guys, half the decor gone, a bunch of young players stepping up and having to play big roles, and they're still able to get things done up against, you mentioned it, good teams that are trying to get into playoff mode here in the Tampa Bay Lightning and Carolina Hurricanes. So I've got a lot of confidence in this team on the ice, Ross, and as you mentioned, Brady and Timmy signing autographs for the kids. I got a lot of confidence in this team off the ice as well, that they're able to kind of boost this community here.
Really cool that Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk did their post-game availabilities together. You notice that? That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a fun little twist on things for sure.
And both of them just thrilled that Claude Giroux is their line mate. Claude Giroux, 1,000 points. He becomes the third player to hit that milestone while wearing an Ottawa Senators jersey. Who were the other two? as you ponder that, Pilsy, I know we discussed it earlier. I probably should have kept the second one quiet. Would you have gotten the second one?
I don't think I would have gotten it. No, I do know them, but I don't think I would have gotten the second one.
Well, name them then, and I'll tell you when they were, because now I feel like we've talked long enough that people can ponder themselves, and they have 2 or 3 loaded. Who were they?
I mean, there's one that if you don't get this, take your Sens jersey off, leave the room, sit down for a bit, and start considering your Sens fandom a little more. Daniel Alfredsson, obviously, is the first one that must come to mind.
And you can just picture Carlson like shaking him. It was the overtime winner against Calgary, right? Or was that his 400th goal? That might have been 400th goal.
Yeah, no, that was a different milestone. Yeah.
1,000th point wasn't it in Buffalo? And I think it was for his 3rd or 4th point of the night.
I forget that one, but I know he scored a big milestone goal up against the Flames. I remember that one.
That was his 400th goal. 100.
Okay.
Yeah. Daniel Alfredsson, 1,000 points. This day in hockey history, it better be against Buffalo or else I'm going to be really upset. Yeah, Buffalo. Empty net against Buffalo. The Sabres are working it around the offensive zone. Alfie just picks it off and a little backhand shovel from center ice. I knew it was something like that. That's awesome. So, that's what it was. That was his 3rd. That was for a hat trick, Bills.
What a legend. I mean, talk about flair for the dramatic for Claude Giroux, Alfie, one and the same. I mean, there's so many parallels you could draw between those two guys, Ross. You mentioned it, I think, a month or two ago. And
in like December, dude.
Yeah, and you really can notice the similarities between the two of those guys.
And the other, so that was in October of 2010 that Alfie hit that milestone.
Yeah, and the other is one of my favorite obscure Senators, Alex Kovalev.
Oh, for sure. Now, this was 1 month later. Isn't that wild?
That is wild. Later. Wow.
Yeah, and it was just a slap shot from the half wall. He breaks his stick on the power play against the Los Angeles Kings. So, really cool that that the Sens now 13 years later get another 1,000 point score. Claude Giroux becomes the 96th player in NHL history to reach the milestone. And Pilsy, how cool is it that it's the first time in NHL history of all 96, now 97, where 2 players reached the milestone on the same night? Joe Pavelski did the same with Dallas.
Yeah, very cool that that was able to happen. And 1,000 points is a big deal, so it deserves to be celebrated. I mean, if someone got 40 goals or something, we're probably not talking about it, but 1,000th NHL career points, wow.
It was just ridiculous. And Pilsy's referencing Sportsnet put up a graphic being like, what a night for milestones. You had Giroux and Pavelski, 1,000 points. Erik Karlsson became the 6th defenseman in NHL history to have 100 points in a season. Oh, and Austin Matthews scored 40 goals, becoming what? The 10th player this season to reach the milestone?
Congrats, Leafs fans. Congrats. I mean, what did he have last year? Like 63 or something? Like,
Matthews became the 15th player this season to reach 40 goals.
Wow, cool.
Well, hope it will be cool when Timmy gets there, because you always remember your first time, right?
Oh, absolutely. But I'm not putting it on a graphic with guys that got 1,000 points and a defenseman that hit a hundo.
Shout out Erik Karlsson, by the way. That's sick.
Big time shout out Erik Karlsson. A massive points lead over any other defenseman in the league.
And doing it in a 6-2 loss is kind of poetic.
I guess. It depends what kind of poetry you're writing.
Oh, my goodness. Anyways, Sens win. Huge, huge game at the CTC. We'll get into it a little bit deeper. Look into some milestones that are coming up. And what do you want to see in the final game? Is there one storyline that you're following saying, can this please happen? Because we've been willing Giroux to 1,000 points. He gets there. So now what? What are we going to look at next? We'll tell you right after a quick word from our favorite sponsors. You're listening to Locked On Senators.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Guys, they are the #1 sportsbook in North America. They are the presenting sponsor of this podcast, and they are the official sportsbook partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. That's where I go to make my sports wagers, because I love that the app is simple, safe, secure, and easy to use.
Toronto Blue Jays home opener tonight, Pilsy. -290 on the money line against the Detroit Tigers. Are you willing to go with the run line -1.5 at -137?
Yeah, I'll probably look at that run line. I mean, it's the home opener. The bats are going to be popping off if I have any sort of guess what's going to be happening here for the Jays.
Plus 280 for Vladdy Jr. to hit a home run.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. And the home opener for the Blue Jays is always exciting. It can get even more exciting if you get a little action in on the game. You can do props like Ross just mentioned. You can do run lines. You can do just straight up money line. There's so many different ways that you can get in on the action with FanDuel. And if you're a first-time customer, it's even better time to join. You can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your bet doesn't hit. And maybe you want to combine some. If you combine same game parlays, you get a bigger chance at a bigger payout. So check it out today, guys. Go to fanduel.com/lockedon. That's fanduel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
Today's episode is also brought to you by the GLEBE Central Pub. You know how much we love our friends at the GLEBE Central Pub, and they love you too. They want to let you know how appreciative they are that you've been rolling with them on the Sens Shuttle all season long. We love that they decided to join us to spread the word of Sens fandom. We rode the bus February 17th. We had a blast. The driver knew exactly the shortcut, what to take, get there on time. The bus always leaves an hour before the game, gets you there with plenty of time to spare, and then picks you up, takes you right back to the GLEBE Central Pub. The GLEBE Central Pub, though, they're not going anywhere all summer. Perfect place to go before heading to Lansdowne. It's right down the street. Go there before a Red Blacks game, before, any summer activities down at Lansdowne. You're able to just hang out, be among friends at the Glebe Central Pub. That's where we go after games, wherever, whenever. It's always a good time at the Glebe Central Pub. Check them out on social media, Glebe Central Pub on Instagram, for more of what is to come, whether it's live music, all sorts of events at the Glebe Central Pub. Check them out, 779 Bank Street. And when you go there, let them know Locked On Senators sent you. It's the Glebe Central Pub. It's the Glebe Central Pub. We love our friends at the Glebe Central Pub. All right, Pillsy. Man, I was just watching those highlights when we're doing the ad read there of Alexei Kovalev's 1,000th point. Sick. Definitely recommend hitting the YouTube search on that one.
Man, I don't care what people think. I know a lot of Sens fans were like, "Oh, he's lazy. There's no back check, whatever."
Not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying they're wrong, but this dude's pure talent was just incredible, and I was fired up when the Sens brought him in, and I remember just like you could tell when he was feeling it, like he had the hands and he would be pulling off insane moves, and then you could tell when he's just like, I'm going to take tonight off. I'm not going to do any sort of back check, forecheck, or any checking at all. But you take the good with the bad with Alexei Kovalev, that's for sure.
One of the Sens' all-time greatest free agent signings until Claude Giroux comes to town. And the Ottawa Senators have the new man in town. One last Alexei Kovalev story, because, we've done 775 episodes of this, and I don't know how this storyline has ever been mentioned, because it might be one of the strangest stories in Sens history. You know that Alexei Kovalev has his pilot's license, and he would, on days off with Ottawa, he would fly to New York City, have dinner, and then come back. You have to be pretty rich to do that.
And he was pretty rich, Ross. Narrator, and he was rich.
I just typed in Alexei Kovalev pilot, and the Sens actually did a 4.5-minute feature, Flying with Alexei Kovalev. That's I'm sure, an interesting video, a blast from the past. But now we're looking forward. One game left, Pillsy. The Sens are pretty much locked in where they're going to finish in the standings. Detroit 5 points back. Buffalo 2 points up, but with 2 games in hand. So that, I think we can just say, you know what? They improved from 8th in the wildcard race to 5th. And you hope that trajectory continues next season. But is there one thing that you're hoping to look at in the final game that's going to, feel like an extra win no matter what the result is on the scoreboard?
Yeah, well, Ross, getting to 40 goals is just such an incredible milestone that deserves to be celebrated all over the league. And Tim Stützle is right there He's at 38 goals. So I'd like to see Timmy get not 2, Ross, but 3 goals in the final game up against the Buffalo Sabres.
Ooh, that would be spicy. 41 to finish on the season. I like that.
Right? And then he gets above 90 points. Whew.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Sends all time.
That's what I'm at, Ross. That's my main focus here for the final game of the year.
Get Timmy to 40. Do you think they're going to feed him like they did with Brady to get to 30?
I mean, why not? Like, if it's the type of game situation where maybe they're going up against empty net and they're able to do that, yeah, I think they're looking for Timmy for sure.
Tim Stützle last night passed Alexander Daig in all-time points with the Ottawa Senators.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, Daig actually had a couple good years. I know that everyone chirps.
I know when you threw out, is he the worst bust in Sens history? I think there's like 5 or 6 guys that are much bigger bust than Daig.
Name them.
Well, so you got first. No, I'm not going to do
Brian Lee.
Whoa, hey now. Yeah, actually, he's probably up there.
He's got to be up there.
Yeah.
We also have Brady Tkachuk, who tied Kyle Turris with 274 points with the Ottawa Senators for 13th in all-time history with the team. Brady Tkachuk's next goal will also bring him into a tie with Erik Karlsson for 9th most in franchise history. Brady Tkachuk's only played 358 games with the team.
Brady's going to climb that list. Like, it's not going to take too long for him to really start looking at some of the top spots in a lot of the records for this franchise.
It's awesome. I mean, he's already tied for second in overtime goals, but again, 3-on-3 is probably a little bit of a head start than some of the guys in the 90s who are slugging it out 5-on-5 for 5 minutes.
Or, I mean, even 4-on-4 for a while there too, right? That's a whole different game than 3-on-3.
Yeah, very, very good point there. But even still, when you're looking at Brady Tkachuk, and I threw out to you this morning, I was like, man, should we say which senator is going to hit 1,000 points first? But they're all so far away. 2 senators closest. But hey, I wouldn't be surprised if Timmy catches Brady even one day and is that guy. So we'll see here sooner rather than later. It's unfortunate the season's coming to an end, but still a lot of fun this season. A lot of heartaches this season with the way they played in November and then down the stretch here once the injury bug kind of bit a little bit. But I'm just excited to see how they finish. There's not one real milestone that I'm looking at right now. I think a lot of them have been achieved, right? Like Batherson's at 22 goals, Pinto's at 20. So they both just kind of climbed over that one. Then we already talked about Timmy. He's already hit his 50 assists. So maybe I'll just give you 3 assist night for Brady so him and Timmy can be locked in at 50 each. And if you want a Timmy hat trick, Pills, I think Brady 3 assists could be a nice little parlay at FanDuel.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one I'm looking at is DeBrincat getting to 30. I think if he gets to 30, that's not as disappointing, or at least you can spin zone it and you can shine it up a little bit more when you're looking at a guy who I think a lot of people anticipated would hit 40 goals yet again on a high-octane top 6 like the Sens, where everyone else seems to be clicking. So it'd be nice for him to get to 30 just so he's at least at that plateau.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, it sucks all these injuries happen, man.
Oh, man.
Like Chychrun only ended up playing 12 games. Thank God he signed for 2 more years. Could you imagine if Chychrun was like going to UFA right now?
No. No, I can't. I'd be so disappointed.
You don't have to be. Because it's all good. He'll be back training camp as a 25-year-old. So he's literally, when you're watching the draft and you're like, oh, this is the Coyotes picking Ottawa's pick. It's all good. In 7 years, maybe that guy will be Jacob Chychrun. Maybe.
Well, and Ross, let me remind you, picks are for losers.
Yeah, F them picks.
Yeah,
right? Isn't that the LA Rams guy once they won the Super Bowl? But that hasn't worked out very well for them.
I mean, they won the Super Bowl, so it worked out. I don't care what anyone says.
Flags fly forever.
Mm-hmm. And they won it at home, too, nonetheless. That's pretty sweet. And they beat my Bengals in the process.
To win a championship, though, you have to make the playoffs, and the Belleville Sens playoff chances took a huge hit, and they didn't even play. Yeah. We'll get into that next. You're listening to Locked On Senators. All right, Pilsy. I got to remind the good people that Locked On Senators is available 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right here on YouTube and wherever you download your audio podcast. The postcast went long last night. Shocker. We had a blast with Jack. We went an hour and 20 minutes. So we're going to point you there for more breakdowns on the actual ins and outs, X's and O's of last night's game. Jack gave his synopsis of a great weekend in Ottawa. Oh, Pilsy, for the people who maybe didn't watch an hour into the postcast, we got to bring up that we are now Sens paraphernalia being used in their advertising videos.
Yeah, we got our 0.8 seconds of fame on the Ottawa Senators hype video for last night's game, so that was nice, and it ended up being an all-time screenshot of the four of us, the postcast crew, and just one of my favorite photos of any of our times at a Sens game. It was an absolute blast.
And if you have any ideas of how we should utilize this photo, let us know. Because
I mean, we already got a good one. I tossed out throw that photo in a Canadian heritage moment, and our guy, I believe his name is Lord Dunkel. Am I getting that right?
Lord Donk Lord.
Lord Donk Lord. My apologies on that one. Yeah, he hooked us up with the quick graphic edit, so we appreciate that. We're just having some fun here.
Oh, just having fun. Everybody except for Brian Elliott was having a ton of fun in that game.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we had an absolute blast. So yeah, for more on that, go check out Locked On Senators on Instagram, and make sure you're checking out the postcast after each and every Ottawa Senators game. By the way, my parents just used Sens40 promo code to get their farm to fork delivery order, and they got a text right away, confirmation. They said when it was going to come out and that they were going to get a text on the morning of, and then updates throughout the delivery process. So quick, easy, $40 off. Really can't beat it.
Ross, I know where I'm going for dinner tonight. Sheesh.
Where?
Chateau Levitan. I'm going to make the drive up.
Right back.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. You know what isn't awesome? Belleville's dead. I'm sorry. They're dead.
Ross, true or false? The Belleville Senators are mathematically eliminated from the AHL play-ins.
Mathematically?
True or false?
A lot of work. A lot of work there. A lot of work.
False. They are not mathematically eliminated from the AHL play-ins. They are still alive in my books.
You gave me Jim Halpert vibes there, trying to pretend to be
true. Yeah.
Yeah. False.
False. Battlestar Galactica is the greatest.
But they're 1 point away from being eliminated officially. They might even be eliminated before they play their next game.
Yes, that could be the case. It doesn't look good. Let's just say that. I mean, anytime you're looking at postseason implications and the team you're discussing is dead last in their division, yeah, probably not great.
Yeah, and have 2 less wins than everybody else. But this is a kick.
3 games though, you could win them all.
I know, but you know what the other problem is? Those games are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 3 and 3. That's already a lot to ask.
Yes.
Then Ottawa plays on Thursday. So it's like your reinforcements, they're not going to play 4 games in 4 nights. I'm sure the CBA has something.
Yeah, no, you can. I there was a situation where someone could have done that, and the CBA blocked it a little while ago. So that's not possible.
They probably get reassigned on Friday, miss that game, then play Saturday, Sunday.
I think that's the play.
So that'll be Mark Kaslick, that'll be JBD, that'll be Igor Sokolov. Am I missing anybody? No, because Ridley's already back down there.
JBD? Did you say?
Yeah, said that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Clevin.
Yeah.
So we get an AHL debut for Tyler Clevin. Woo!
Yep. Love that.
Are you still planning on going in Toronto, or because they're out of it, eliminated? You're not
No, I completely got my weekends mixed up. I thought they were there last weekend. They were not. But if and when they do make the play-in,
you're literally going to Toronto on Friday.
Yeah, I'm going on Friday. The game's in Rochester on Friday, is it not?
Right. Just stay overnight. Go Saturday. I mean, if they're not mathematically eliminated, what's the problem?
I do have another job I got to get to Saturday, unfortunately, that old thing. But I will be going if they make the play, and I'm going to CAA Arena. I'm making that happen. Because, I mean, Lord knows they only get one opportunity to host a game in the playoffs, play-ins, whatever.
ridiculous. We'll still be watching them. There's still some great storylines down there, most notably Levi Merelainen, among others. So
Yep.
I'm fired up. I'll see what happens, and I'm gonna try to muster up some positivity, Pilsy.
Yeah, you've been a hater on the Belleville Senators the last
I
week.
love
Come
them.
on, man.
I just want the best for them.
Isn't
And-
making the play-ins the best for them?
Yeah, but they're not going to. So I'm
Oh
sad.
no, with that attitude, man. Come on.
Try to be positive, man.
That is not trying to be positive.
I'm trying.
Okay,
Oh,
try.
I
Be
forgot.
better. That's what I'll say to you, Ross. Try harder, be better.
Yeah,
At being
I didn't even
positive.
mention that their last 2 games are against a team that has 20 more points than them. Maybe they'll rest guys.
That's exactly. See, now you're trying to be positive. I like this now. Here we go. Well,
we're relying on 2 teams losing out.
yes.
A number 1 place team resting their best players for 2 games
Mm-hmm.
and winning 3 games in 3 nights, 2 of which are on the road.
Yep, you got it. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Sorry,
that.
all three are on the road.
I think the one, the Rochester one might be at CA Arena. I have to double check that one, but someone did let us know.
All on the road.
All on the road. Okay, the odds are against the Belleville Senators, but someone did let us know, and I didn't fact check this, so I hope they're not trolling, that the Allen Americans, the Ottawa Senators ECHL team, has qualified for the playoffs. So we're all Americans now, except when the Belleville Senators play Rochester. We are not Americans.
We are all Americans is an all-time line, and I'm pulling it up here. I bet you they like snuck in backdoor.
Yeah, big time.
What division are they in? Central, I'd imagine. No. Oh, Allen Americans, 2nd place in the Mountain Division. Oh.
What? Okay.
I mean, they only have 1 Senators prospect on their team. Like it's just weird all around what they're doing here.
Yeah, it is. It's so sad that the Brampton Beast didn't work out. I was very excited about that.
Yeah, that made the most sense. Yakov Novak, the only real Sens prospect on the Allen Americans, 9 points in 11 games.
Legend.
In the ECHL. Pilsy, final thoughts. We're keeping this one nice and brief today. We're going to do our best to get a Sens Central citizen for you tomorrow, but if not, we'll have a full game day preview on Thursday. Senators and Buffalo Sabres. And let us know in the comments, what are you hoping to see in this final game of the 2022-2023 season? Pilsy, you mentioned it. So Claude Giroux opened and closed the Canadian Tire Center this year with a goal, and Ottawa is opening and closing their season in Buffalo against the Sabres.
Yep. Unfortunately, they opened with a loss, so let's see them close out with a win. And Ross, I've kind of fallen off the standings implications here. Is Buffalo still alive? Yeah, they are still alive. So
automatically not eliminated.
Exactly. So it'd be nice if the Ottawa Senators could kind of just shut the door on them and have that not be an opportunity for the Sabres.
For Chris Neil.
For Chris Neil, absolutely, yes.
Tomorrow, I want to discuss the Eastern Conference playoff picture. I might even pull up the standings.
Yeah, definitely we'll do that. And I'm excited to make our playoff predictions. Ross, last year, if I recall, we both tweeted out our predictions, and we both did pretty good in the first 2 rounds, which is nice to see. So we're going to be doing that again. You guys can follow along with our playoff predictions. And it's sad the Ottawa Senators were so close to the playoffs, but won't make it. But my God, I love playoff hockey. And round 1 is my favorite. I don't care what anyone says. Round 1 is my absolute favorite.
On Monday, we're going to introduce everyone to our hashtag Sens Abroad. Yeah. And this is actually going to be a litmus test as well, because if some hosts don't get back to me, they're automatically off the wagon. But I'm giving every Locked On NHL host an opportunity to send us a 2-minute video asking you, Sens fans, to cheer for their team and why. I can't wait to see what the Locked On Leafs guys have to say. I hope they go full heel and they're just like, we don't want you.
Yeah, stay out of the Leaf pile. It's soggy enough.
That's probably what we'd say. If the Leafs were out and the Sens were in, we'd be like, you should cheer for us because no, don't.
Yeah, don't even think about it.
But that's all coming up soon on Locked On Senators. Mark Mathot will join us on Friday for a eulogy of the Ottawa Senators season. And then we're getting right into exit interviews a week later. We're doing 1 week where we'll have a couple more interviews. I want to reach out to Cheryl Pounder following the Women's World Championships as well. We'll get all that conversation in. And then, exit interview season, 2 per day. And the sale of the Senators looms large.
And just so people are clear, these are dramatic exit interviews. What's the word I'm looking for? We are not actually doing real exit interviews with all the players. We're going to
hypotheticals.
Hypothetical exit interviews. Yes, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Cam, please grab a seat.
Yeah.
All right. For more, again, Locked On Senators postcast went very long last night. Had a great time. Lots of laughs, lots of great interactions in the chat. Thank you all for being Sens Central citizens. Following the show on Twitter at Sens Central, on Instagram, lockedon.senators. Please subscribe to the pod on YouTube as well. It really goes a long way to helping the show grow and liking, commenting, all of that great stuff. And for today, we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.